Doom is a first-person shooter about a guy who punches demons in the face until they explode. You run around a destroyed facility on Mars, tearing the limbs off of anything that so much as looks at you funny. You eventually follow the demons back to hell, where you can hunt every last one of them down, ignoring their pleas for mercy as you beat them to death with their own body parts as their families look on in horror. It's f***ing awesome! Like everyone else it seems, I am sick and friggin' tired of hiding behind sandbags and bits of wall or whatever, popping my head up to take a few unsatisfying shots with whichever of the two dinky pea shooters the game lets me carry, until I take a few hits and need to hide behind the cover again. It's pretty cliche to point out, I know, but regenerating health is the most overused and most of the time misused mechanic in the shooter genre. In Doom, however, you regain health primarily by executing glory kills, by weakening enemies with gunfire, then finishing them off with a melee attack, usually by removing one or more of the enemy's body parts and stuffing it down their throat. Unlike in most other modern shooters, you aren't forced to remove yourself from the combat if things aren't going your way. If the fight is going poorly, you turn things around by fighting harder. Not only is this more dynamic and mechanically interesting, it's more fun. What do you know? Regenerating health will do its thing regardless of how the player is acting. With Doom's glory kill mechanic, the player is in control of healing, not the game. In addition, you also have a chainsaw. And as if you needed a further incentive to use a chainsaw, killing enemies with it will cause a fountain of ammo to pour from their corpse. It's never explained why this happens, but frankly I don't care because it's cool. Though I rarely found myself using the chainsaw to recover ammo since you carry all your weapons with you at all times, and it's easy to find something else that still has a few bullets rattling around in it if another gun runs dry. I usually just use the chainsaw as an emergency insta-kill for enemies I don't want to deal with. While there are pickups scattered throughout all the combat arenas, having mechanics built into the combat that allow you to manage your resources helps keep the combat focused and makes it so you rarely need to go out of your way to restock. But having these pickups scattered around also helps reinforce another important aspect of combat: mobility. Much like the original Doom, you cannot stop moving in combat, and just lightly stepping out of the way of a fireball or energy bolt isn't enough. If you're in combat, you are surrounded, and at any given time you're probably being chased by another freaking Hell Knight. God damn it, get out of here! Almost all the arenas are vertically layered, with tunnels and walkways that double back on each other, making it easy to stay on the move with very few dead ends to worry about. The verticality of the level design is complemented by the inclusion of a ledge grab maneuver, and many of the climbable ledges are conveniently marked with green lights. Movement in general feels very fluid and responsive. You move the same speed in any direction, even backpedaling, and you have full liberty to fire or execute a glory kill even while airborne. Movement also plays into the glory kill mechanic, as you need to get close to an enemy to execute one. In some ways, fighting enemies at longer range can be a risk in itself, as it can prevent you from being able to make use of the opportunity to glory kill an enemy and keep your health up. Levels are all pretty large and are usually made up of series of hallways and smaller rooms littered with a few enemies, connecting large open rooms with multiple waves of demons. The game will usually guide you towards whatever thingy you need to activate or find or smash in an area, but sometimes it will also lead you to your own devices as you look for a key or a button that you need to progress. Alternate objectives are never added to the combat as part of the progression, but each level does have 3 challenges that will earn you weapon upgrade points when completed. These will often involve exploration-based tasks, but are mostly killing certain things in certain ways. In addition to these side challenges, each level has several secrets to find, and finding them all will get you another 2 weapon upgrade points. These secrets are one of my few criticisms of the game. Most of them are just look at the map to find something that looks like a secret and then go to it. It rarely feels like exploration, and with how massive the levels are, trying to scour them out unassisted would be pretty awful anyway. But that is the sort of thing you have to do when finding the bonus levels. Every level has a section that's made up to look like Classic Doom, and finding it will unlock a Classic Doom level to play using new Doom's mechanics. You can see where they are on the map, but the door to access them is always locked, and you need to find a lever to open it. The lever is always nearby in a sense, but that can be incredibly vague in a lot of levels. With no coherent hints, all you can do is painstakingly scour the area, basically just playing a game of guess what the developer was thinking at the time. Finding these levers can be very tedious, kind of like running around in Classic Doom trying to open all the walls. Maybe that was kind of intentional. But these are purely optional secrets, so it's a pretty minor gripe. As for what you find in these secrets, aside from the boring ones that just have ammo and armor pickups, You can find Argent cores, which can be used to boost your max health, armor, and ammo. There are Praetor tokens, which can be used to purchase upgrades to provide some specific enhancements, like resistance to damage from your own explosive weapons and increased weapon swap speeds. And there are little robots that carry weapon mods. The weapon mods are what the weapon upgrade points you earn are spent on. With two exceptions, each weapon has two mods that provide an alternate fire. The shotgun can alternatively fire explosive shots, the rocket launcher's rockets can be modded to be detonated manually, and the plasma rifle can be made to vent a nova of heat after firing a lot of rounds, to name a few of these. Using the upgrade points, you can further improve the mods and eventually unlock a mastery skill for each, though these have special requirements before they can be used. This is another minor problem I have. I found the need to worry about fulfilling these special requirements kind of distracting, as I worried about accidentally wasting opportunities to make progress in attaining these bonuses by using the wrong weapon. I don't like having arbitrary things interfering with the decisions I'm making with my weapon choices. But again, this complaint has more to do with how I like to play than anything I think is actually wrong with the game. This complaint also applies, though to a lesser extent, to the runes. Scattered throughout the game are special rune stones that allow the player to undertake a timed challenge to win a rune that can grant special passive bonuses, like speeding up glory kills or increasing aerial mobility, and this bonus can be improved by fulfilling special requirements. These are much more general requirements than the weapon bonuses, so I don't feel they interfere quite as much, but they still do. But these petty, whining complaints aside, I love how the upgrades in this game work. Between the runes, the weapon mod upgrades, and the Praetor token upgrades, with few exceptions, they don't make you stronger outright, and that is very important. One of my biggest complaints with modern game design is that way too many games overuse RPG mechanics, including and maybe even especially RPGs. What I mean by that is, a lot of games implement something like a power creep, an incremental escalation of both the challenge presented to the player and the player's ability to meet that challenge, but don't properly account for the best way for this to manifest in the gameplay. If all you do is increase the strength of the player and that of the enemies at exactly the same rate, you don't actually change anything. This is a criticism I would make of the Ratchet & Clank games. And depending on how the player causes their strength to grow, that growth can start to take precedence over the actual tasks the strength is meant for. That would be something like being forced to grind levels in an RPG. Or if a game has a heavy reliance on a skill component, having the power creep naturally guided by its RPG elements be too steep can interfere with that emphasis on skill, and that's an issue I take with the Souls series. In Doom though, through all the upgrades, aside from the oh-so-important boosts to your max health and armor, you're not really getting stronger, you're getting more capable. The strength of the weapon isn't really increasing as much as your ability to use them is expanding. Factoring in that there are other weapons that could do more damage, even with the damage boost the shotgun's explosive shot offers, it's still not a very efficient means of doing heavy damage. Rather, the area of effect yields a decreased emphasis on accuracy, which can be especially useful when on the move. Reducing the damage you take from your own explosions makes you better suited to combat in that you can more safely use explosive weapons at close range. Expanding the range of glory kills drastically increases your survivability, not by boosting your health, but by allowing you to stay a bit farther from the fray but still get the health bonus of a glory kill. Each of these benefits can vastly improve the player's ability to hold their own in combat, but only if they know how to properly make use of them, unlike just a flat power boost, where you're just doing the exact same thing and it's more powerful. Doom's upgrade system improves the combat by expanding its mechanics, and that's something I wish a lot more games could do. Doom looks great and runs smooth as silk, even on consoles, though there is a bit of texture pop in here and there. The demon designs are all very detailed and have very distinct silhouettes, which is a must with the fast pace of gameplay. There are lots of great heavy metal renditions of classic Doom music, which is a nice touch. Though, in terms of sound design overall, I kind of miss how much more distinct the noises each monster made were in classic Doom. It's much harder to tell what kind of monsters are around you here, and I feel like more distinct sounds would have been good for gameplay. My score for Doom is a 4 out of 4. It's so damn good. It has fun, dynamic combat, a near genius upgrade system, and some seriously smartly designed resource mechanics. It's just f***ing awesome. On the downside, the load times are a bit long, I guess. Most of my other complaints were more personal issues than things I think are legitimate flaws. Try this game. It's good. Do it for me. Do it for Doom Guy. Anyway, thanks for sticking through to the end. That one got a little tedious, I know. I just really like talking about power creep. But hey, if you're like me and you enjoy tedious ramblings, I know a great place for more. My channel. Oh, I'm such an asshole. More reviews are coming. Subscribe if you want. I mean, it's your life. Don't let me tell you what to do.